If you're in Seattle, and you need to buy or sell a home, we'll be right there for you. Because we're the realtors that you can trust. So go to ronanddonsitdown.com.
You're listening to The Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey, you guys, what's going on? And welcome to another episode of The Ron and Don Show. And we are back live in the Team TeamLisa.com studios for all your mortgage needs. It's TeamLisa.com.
What is up, Ron and Don Nation?
Hey, coming up on the Ron and Don Show, we got to talk about what happens when you're dating somebody and all of a sudden they get on Ozempic and then something happens to their body that's not awesome. And I had to stop dating a girl over it.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about this.
We're going to talk about that. Also, we have to talk about the pie. I love the pilots that hand out pizza for free after you're stuck on a plane for 8 hours. And then come to find out, it's not a pizza for free. It's a slice of pizza, and I don't even think the pilot pays for it. So we'll get into that. And why not Chinese food? That's what I say. Why not some Chinese food? Why not some MSG when you're sitting on the ground for 8 to 10 hours and you're smelling the commode, if you know what I'm talking about? Before we get to the top 5 at 5, though, I think we have to stop the show. Can we stop the show?
Stop the show.
We haven't even started the show.
Ron, fresh off the plane from Las Vegas, and also happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
It's my brother's birthday.
This is your day to have a lot of fun. Bo, bo, bo. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. This is your day. So eat a piece of cake. What is Bob doing in Stanley, New Mexico, home with Jeffrey Epstein today?
It is, unfortunately, that is true. The big ranch where there may or may not be bodies buried in the ground.
Zorro Ranch.
It's like half an hour from his house. Yeah. He is a veteran, served in the Army. So on his birthday, he does go get his free waffle at the Waffle House. Yeah. That was his big plan for today. In fact, anywhere, so on like Veterans Day or his birthday, he's got a roster of like I think on Veterans Day you can go to.
I know you can get a bloomin' onion at the Outback.
As a veteran, so he does it all. Like he has you get like a free Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity for lunch.
That's IHOP.
For breakfast, and then lunch you'll get the bloomin' onion, and for dinner you get a free Whataburger, whatever it is.
Beppo, you get a whole plate of like 39 chicken thighs.
Yeah.
So, but today, in a jug of red wine.
His plan was to take his lovely and talented wife to Waffle House, gets his free birthday waffle.
Yeah.
Then they're hopping in the car to go drive and see their grandchild.
That's nice.
So they're pretty good birthday.
Isn't their grandchild like in Oklahoma?
No, their grandchild is in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
So it's a drive.
It's quite a drive.
But he already knows.
It's not like they're going there this afternoon and they'll be home. They'll be home.
He already knows the halfway spot pizza joint that they're stopping at.
Now that he's retired, is he still working?
No, he's not retired.
I thought he was retired.
He retired from teaching school, and now he has a different career.
With Kevin.
With his buddy Kevin, lifelong friend. They work together.
Okay, sounds good. Before we get to everything else, let's talk about your trip to Las Vegas. I haven't been there in a while, ever since the divorce. My 33-day marriage. It's a long time ago.
Long story.
Yeah.
The story's longer than the marriage.
That goes all the way back to my 20s. No, I did ride my bike through there one time, and I remember riding through and going, wow, this is the place where the divorce kind of happened after 33. So I haven't been back after that. Don't love Vegas.
I don't love it either. There's parts of it I like.
But people say it's changing. Everywhere you go, you can't find a cheap drink, or you can't find the old, $6.99 buffet. It's all about shows, and it's all about the Sphere.
Well,
what is Las Vegas
the
like? The
reason I went is my life partner that I'm with, she's in insurance, and they had their national insurance convention. So like 19,000 insurance agents from all across.
Why not just say 20,000?
I think because it wasn't 20,000. It was less than 20,000.
I like to round up.
All right. So 20,000 agents from around America.
Which isn't exactly accurate.
Come in to Vegas. And so I went to a couple of their things and walked through.
What are their things?
One of them is they had this, it was pretty impressive actually. They rented out this huge convention space. And you walked in, and there were these giant displays like you would be at like a trade show almost. But they were each for different categories that these agents might need. So a lot of it is AI focused.
Oh, yeah.
And their AI integration, client management, client acquisition through different AI channels. There were guest speakers. They had Jimmy Fallon was their MC.
Yeah.
Pink was the entertainment when
wow.
at the evening show where
Was she good?
I didn't go to the Pink show. I had a different dinner thing set up. But Pink was at the basketball arena or Allegiant Arena, whatever it is. So like they spent some money on this thing. So it was that part was interesting. And what were we saying of why? Oh, they're changing it.
People talk about how it's changed. It's more expensive, and then people say
it's really expensive now.
It's really expensive.
So we were staying in the Aria Cosmopolitan Videra complex. And very nice resort. Really liked everything there. But you're right. Like I actually called my dad because he's like, when we went to Circus back in the day, it was $1.99.
We went to Circus.
Yeah,
it was $1.99.
And so you cannot get a cocktail for under $25 to $30 per cocktail.
Yeah.
We did a couple. And admittedly, I chose some, like we went to David Chang restaurant, Momofuku, and we went to Jose Andres restaurant. So like we went to some named restaurants, but you're not getting out of there for under $150 a head. Like it's just, it's not going to happen. And I will asterisk that with saying like, I'm going to go, if I'm at David Chang restaurant, we got the David Chang experience. Like I'm not going to order one taco. Like we're going to get,
you're going to go 2 tacos.
You're going to go 2 tacos.
You might have 3.
And so, yeah, but definitely drop some money on that. And I learned a lesson I've already learned before in my life.
You learned it again.
Which is to...
Well, it means does that mean you didn't learn it?
It did, but...
Matt, what is your take on that? A lesson I learned before.
I unlearned it, and then I had to relearn it.
It sounds like an unlearned lesson, doesn't it?
I think it's an unlearned lesson.
Thank you, Matt. Matt and I are the same side.
I had time to do one poker session at the Aria Poker Room.
Oh, boy.
And so, very nice room. In fact, the most money I've ever seen on a poker table was in the Aria private room one time. I was there around the World Series of Poker, and there was about $5 to $8 million on one table.
On the table?
On the table,
in
chips.
Wow.
Around between, I couldn't count everybody's stack because they don't let you, the civilians
That has
just
to
in.
be intimidating, right?
It was insane. There was a kid in his 20s that had at least $1 million in front of him. At least. I didn't know who he was, but clearly he had a bankroll or had some backers that were giving him this money. Yeah. So anyways, I was playing the $1, $3 table. So the lesson that I've learned before, because it happened to me in New Orleans, is if there is an attractive, young female poker player at a table with all guys in Las Vegas,
Run, don't walk.
she's a good player. Like that's just how it is. Like you most of the time, because you're not going to sit down and have an absolute nobody playing. And so this female player, she's very good, very friendly. She is playing a lot of hands, and the frequency, the math of poker was like she can't have a good hand every hand. Yeah. Like that's not how it works. And so I had what I thought was a decent hand. I went all in. She called me and had pocket kings that time. So that was an expensive lesson to learn. I don't regret the actual play, but I happened to run into the time where she had a legit hand.
So she
is dining out on my money still as we speak. She's getting a $27 cocktail.
Lose?
It was $400. Wow. So it wasn't
that's a significant amount.
It's
you think about what you could buy for $400.
You could buy one taco at Momofuku.
All right, let's get to
Ron and Don's top 5 at 5. 5,
3, 2, 1.
All right, let's get to tonight's top 5 at 5. We talk a lot on this show about, we don't call it boomer junk. We call it collections. A lot of our clients that reach out to us because of the radio show and also because of the podcast are boomers, right? They're boomers, or it's their parents or their grandparents. Like we had a couple reach out to us the other day from the east side, and they said, hey, we are, and we hear this a lot. We are not hoarders, but we've lived in this house with our family for a very long time. It's a very big house on the east side. They live there with their sons, and now it's time to transition. And in that generation, if you have a big house, why not hang on to stuff? Because you learn from your parents and your grandparents. that everything has a use and everything can be reused. And every once in a while, when you do reuse something, I remember today I was looking for, it was just this morning, I had to tighten my glasses. You should see all the gadgets that I have in my drawer to tighten glasses. Really, when you go to tighten your glasses,
You can't find any of them.
All you really need is a tiny, 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 tiny screwdriver that you can't find anyways because you don't have your glasses on because your glasses aren't working. And then you ultimately stop off in the mall and the guy tightens your glasses at the mall.
I'm sliding into where every available square inch in my place is filled and like really need to do a declutter because it's, for me, it's like hobbies. And like I join a new hobby, I get all the gear for the hobby.
Yeah.
And like you enjoy it and you do it periodically, but you're not doing it every day. But you have the whole setup for, like, I have a whole station where I can do leather work. I have a whole station for watches. I have a whole station where if I want to go skiing. I have a whole thing to do like wood turning. I have a whole, like a bandsaw and like all this stuff. And like I use them. Like, you know that I build stuff and I make stuff, but like I got all the power tools and the battery chargers and like all the stuff. But it's a lot. Like,
you never know when you might need it, though, because maybe your tiny house gets crushed with a tree.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I'm all done building this tiny house. And then one day you go out to the woods and you're like, oh, a tree fell on my tiny house.
Maybe I need that.
Maybe I'm going to need some of these
but
tools.
the struggle is, and there was the article that you sent, and I think it applies to the people listening, of like some strategies to help with this situation. And the biggest one for me, and I'm curious because you've navigated this more than I have, but convincing someone to take photos of things and create a book instead of keeping the real thing. Some people can make that jump. Other people can't. So let's take, for instance, you have an article of clothing from a loved one. Or it might be something, a souvenir from a trip.
Maybe a trophy from sixth grade.
Right, a trophy.
When you're on a basketball team.
And so it's not prominently displayed in your house, but emotionally it's significant to you in some way. Mm-hmm. How does that usually go? Like, what's the conversation like? Because I remember one client we had where her husband had died, and he had a collection of sports memorabilia. And she was not a collector of sports memorabilia, but she felt like she was betraying her husband if she got rid of it.
And he had passed away in that house, so there's a big tie to the house.
And it was nice memorabilia.
It was incredible stuff, yeah. And so finally, the older daughter stepped in and said, "Mom, let's start putting this online." And when they started putting it online, and they saw the cash that was coming back, and they were house rich and cash poor, I think it was you that kind of gave her permission that it was okay to sell those things because he's no longer here, but those things are. And I think sometimes when you are a boomer or you were raised by the silent generation or your grandparents are part of the greatest generation, because, and I tell people this all the time, because you know, part of your family went through, you know, the 30s, your grandparents did. So they know what it's like not to have stuff, or they know what it's like to stand in a soup line. Or in the 40s, they know what it's like to turn the lights off if you live on the coast, or build a victory garden. Or we had to build a military of over 14 million men to go fight a battle on 2 different shores. Women had to pile into our factories where the men used to work in order to build Sherman tanks and B-29s and B-17s. All the beans and the bullets. So everybody was a part of the war effort. It's not like right now where the army is less than 2 million people. Like, we're in a blockade right now, but do we feel it? Yeah, when we step to the gas pump and when we step into a grocery store. But those prices have been soaring for quite some time anyway. So I tell people, I just ask people, who's this for? Like, why are you hanging on to this, and who's this for? And they usually pick maybe a grandchild that's not born yet, or they pick a son or a daughter. And I've just been through too many situations where the son, the daughter, the grandchild finally steps to the home where either mom and dad are gone because they passed away, or they're gone because cognitive care. And what the grandchild and the children do is they immediately call it buzzard dumpsters, and they just start throwing everything away.
It is shocking when you see people go through the house where the parents thought things were of great value and that the kids would want them. And they go through, I remember a good friend of yours in Beacon Hill, Nobody wanted anything. There was a chair that was worth like $1,500. That got claimed. There was some records that were kind of cool. Those got claimed. You picked up some stools.
We're sitting on them, yeah.
And other than that, like people were like, I'm good.
Right.
I'm out. You guys clean up all the stuff.
But they do want to know what the net proceeds are. They do want to talk to the attorney, and they want to know how much money they're getting from that house. Even hanging on to a house sometimes, because you're like, wow, my son or daughter or grandchild is going to need a house. Most of the time they sell the house, and most of the time it really is about
But
that.
I like what you've said before, too, is like, while you're alive, ask your children if they want anything.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep it. Like, if you think this is great stuff that they're going to want, give it to them now.
Yeah, I'll talk about Mike and Patty Hathaway, and I think they're okay with it. They lived up in Edmonds, and they did a really good job knowing that they were going to transition. In fact, they spent a year traveling, and then they ultimately wanted to relocate to Bend, and they're probably listening to this right now. They took a year when they knew that they were leaving the house. They did a lot of the work that their house needed on their own, so they saved a lot of money there, right? And then they also made sure that they thoughtfully started going through those things. Like Mike's dad was in World War II, and he was a pilot, and he had all these medals and these beautiful suits, and it's like, how do we give these to Goodwill, or how do we throw these medals away? And what they did is they would have the kids come over and do exactly that. Are there things here that you want? Are there things here that you care about? And if not, what would be a thoughtful way to get rid of some of those things so we're not just dumping them into a dumpster? And that's typically what people do when they walk into a situation where you may feel like you're a collector, but they're overwhelmed by, call it a hoard, call it a collection, whatever it is. And many times it comes down to dollars and cents for folks. One of the biggest businesses in the country right now is self-storage, because what most people do when they leave a big house, like say you own a McMansion over on the east side, is they say, well, I'll use all these things someday, or my kids will use all these things. So even if I'm going to downsize, I'm going to hang on to all these things and put them in self-storage. That's where you see all these television shows like Storage Wars, where people, they get your automatic credit card, and you're attached to these things because you think other family members are going to want them. And then each and every month, what do? They take $800 out of your checking account, and they do that for the next 5 to 10 years. So they're preying on you. The best thing to do when they talk about spring cleaning, and my son and I actually did this, we just go through our house and we act like, hey, someone's going to come stay here, and it's not going to be us, which actually happens in the summer. We rent our house out so that we can go on vacation and also tuck some money away for him for his college fund. So we'll rent our house out, and in doing so, it makes you go through every drawer. It makes you go through every cupboard. It makes you clean everything out, get rid of things, take pictures of things.
It's still hard for me to, like, when I know the value of something. Like this morning, in fact, I had a Blink security camera off of a rental but I already have security cameras on my place, but I had it. So it's sitting there. I'm not using it. I'm not going to use it. I don't have a Blink account. And it's just sitting there, and it's been sitting there for a long time.
Yeah.
So this morning I was like, you know what? I know that has some kind of value. Maybe $10. I don't know what a used Blink camera is worth. I threw it away, but I felt horrible. I was like, it's a functional Blink. It's in my garbage can right now.
And you don't want to do marketplace, or you don't want to.
Well, who's going to want one used Blink camera?
You don't know.
Is it worth my time?
You should go get it out.
No.
You should go get it out.
But that's my thing.
I can't believe you threw that away.
It's like I have
horrible.
a box.
Did you take a picture of it to remember?
No.
I hate to interrupt, but I have to run home right now and clean my house before I die.
Ron and Don's Top 5 at 5.
Number 2.
Just frightening.
All right, story number 2, Ron and Don's Top 5 at 5. I like when artists come out, like Kiefer Sutherland, and go, yeah, you know what? We just did a UK tour. I didn't even know he's a musician. I guess he is. And then I listened to him online, and I went, ooh, I would stick with acting, dog. You're pretty good at
You're no Bacon Brothers.
I wouldn't pay to go see him. And anyway, he just canceled all his shows over something called Blue Dot Fever. What is Blue Dot Fever?
Blue Dot Fever is this comes from the Ticketmaster website. When you go to Ticketmaster and you're looking for an open seat, all the open seats are blue dots. Mm-hmm. The ones that have no blue dot have already been purchased. And so when an artist goes out and they look at a venue, like let's say it's Climate Pledge Arena, and there is a wave of blue dots everywhere, they go, eesh. Maybe we're not selling out a 16,000 seater.
Like Jennifer Lopez last summer,
Right.
she canceled all her shows. She said she wanted to be closer to family, and I'm like,
it's the blue dot fever.
you live in a mansion, and you have 5 of them, and they're 55,000 square feet. If you want to be close to your family, get a smaller mansion and sell a couple of those,
Well,
right?
it's interesting now, too, like some of these legacy acts, like I just got an email for the Smashing Pumpkins reunion tour. Like the show's not for 9 months or something. Like there's such a long ramp. I'm like, I'm not buying a ticket for next February, whenever it is, like right now. And so they're saying that this crunch that's happening with people, especially at the gas pump and at the grocery store, is squeezing out things like concerts and like, you know, maybe nights out like I did down in trips to Vegas, going out to a nice dinner. Like when because that gas pump number is so in your face. Like people know what it costs to fill up their gas tank, or they did. And so when it's like 60-70% more, like I used to fill up my gas tank for $45 and now it's $80.
Yeah.
Like it's doesn't take a rocket surgeon to look at that and go, wow, like that is almost double. And so people know what a gallon of milk is. And so then when it comes time to like, hey, I really do want to go to see J-Lo, but not for $300 a ticket. Like I wanted to go see a couple more hockey games this year. Like I love the Kraken, but holy cow, dude! Like it's a $500-600 night to go to a Kraken game.
Yeah, and it's all the fees that you don't see that are added on to that. So George and I just got our Seahawk tickets. Opening game face value $425, which is, you know, now you take that ticket, you put that online, and then you think about all the fees that people are going to have to pay on top of that. And then you go there and you get a really it's dry, man. The Kid Valley burger, that is effing
At least there's lots of garlic, which you
burger.
love.
That is a horrible burger. I would tear the state. People are like, the new owners are going to want a new stadium. I would tear that stadium down over how horrific that burger is. Condiments won't fix it. A piece of cheese is not available.
Why do you keep going back?
It's
Switch it up.
It's right outside Section 110.
Switch it up.
I can't help myself. I run in the bathroom. I
Like,
wash
maybe
my
this time
hands.
is different.
Yeah, what's that?
Maybe this time it's going to be different.
All right. Yeah.
Ron and Don's Top 5 at 5.
Number 3.
I talk about this all the time, and it's really sincere. When I was younger, I used to volunteer and work in a church. And one of my jobs when I was very young, working in this church, I worked in the super church, is like, hey, you're going to have to marry and bury people, right? And I'm like 19 to 22 years old. And some of the outdoor performances I did as far as marrying people, I look back now, I was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. I was pretty good at marrying. The burying part, I wasn't great at.
We did.
Because I usually started...
You know, here's a sidebar real quick.
Okay.
Don and
Is this
I
about
sang,
us? Is this about us being wedding singers?
Yes,
we
sang-
didn't get booked a lot, but when we
Don
did,
and I-
we gave it everything we had.
back when I had a mullet down to here.
Oh, and I have one too.
We sang at one of my best friends Anthony's wedding,
And
his
divorced.
first wedding.
He got divorced right after.
And I thought we crushed it. I thought we did. People said we sounded great.
Your parents liked
It
it.
was a two guitar jamboree.
Bob and Alice thought it was great.
We had our peach cummerbunds on and the
Yep.
peach bow ties, and we've said this for years on the radio show. If you have a wedding, we will come be a wedding singer.
We sing
And-
Rascal Flatts, The Broken Road.
And I sang that at my sister's wedding.
Yeah.
Not once did anybody take it. And we said, we'll do LGBTQ weddings. We'll do straight weddings.
I think we did too.
No, I said we never did anyone other than Anthony.
I think we did one other one.
If we did, like the offer
No,
was
you
out
did, you
there.
did too, because you did your sister.
I did my sister, but
That's
you weren't
two.
there. So
Yeah.
I did one and we did one together.
Okay.
You would think that people would love to have us at their wedding,
You would think.
but evidently not.
Yeah. Anyway.
So you're going to marry and bury people.
Yeah, and I have to say, when my little sister died, she's 43. She had ALS. We knew for years that she was going to die. And typically, when you get the kind of ALS that Colleen got, it's about a 3-year death spiral. It sucks, man. You lose your teeth, you lose your hair. You have really little kids. Her kids are very, very young. You want to make sure that their memory isn't of their mom without hair, without her teeth. You just
I remember the movement, like your brain being there but unable to move.
Yeah, and she actually, this buzzer right here, she spoke with this buzzer. Like when I see this buzzer, that's on her. When she needed help, she'd hit that thing, and now people with ALS are able to talk to us because the technology is different. But the technology, we didn't have that then. Anyway, fast forward. I remember all this work, and her husband worked in the church as well. Great, he's a great musician. She was a great musician. They would put on these incredible Christmas plays together that their kids would be in. And you would go to this church. It's like a lot of mega churches today where you go in, even if you don't believe in Jesus, it's a hell of a show. It's a hell of a show that they put on for Jesus.
I don't know if you should say hell of a show about the Jesus show.
The Jesus show is a hell of a show.
Maybe heck of a show?
No, it was one hell of a show.
All right.
Even if you don't believe in Jesus, when you leave there, you still feel great.
God, one hell of a guy.
Yeah, because of all the...
You are good at marketing, I'll tell you that.
I am.
That should be on the mega church. Jesus, one hell of a guy.
Yeah, even if you don't...
Come see us on Sunday.
Even if you don't believe him, you're going to love
And
it.
twice on Wednesday night.
No, you got the drum kit going. You got everyone singing. People are raising their hands. Even if you don't believe
Got
in
the
it.
white people clapping on the wrong beat.
Yeah, you get caught up in it. So anyway, we put together this whole ceremony, and my sister's husband was a big part of that, and then I was allowed to put together a part of that. And I had suggested early on that we do it while she's alive. And boy, was that not taken very well, because everyone was convinced that because of Jesus, they're in the church, that she wasn't going to die, which is like, it's tough, right? Because all the medicine, and people remember, we flew her here, we got her medical help, we did all that. There's people in the Ron and Don Nation that were a big part of that. I'm very appreciative. The service that we finally did opened up with John Denver.
Okay.
Right? Country Roads, Take Me Home. And then it was all these pictures of her life since she was a little girl. And being around the campfire, and that's where she started singing. I would play my guitar. My brother plays guitar. My sister, Beth, would sing way off key, kind of like what we did when we were troubadours in the church. In fact, we should add my sister, Beth, if we're going to go out and do some church singing.
Yeah.
She can come along and
play the tambourine
and do the non-harmony. Yeah, and she would agree with all this. She would agree with it. But we got, there were over 800 people in the church. The church was packed. The things that people said about her, that her kids got to hear and that we all got to hear, because the beautiful thing about a service like that is you get to hear things from somebody else's walk with them, that maybe there was someone that she worked with or somebody else's life that she touched. And when you're in that service of celebration, you're hearing that sometimes for the first time. I'll fast forward to our friend Gary, who we call 55.
But hold on. Well, the reason we're bringing this up, because the fastest growing category right now in this stage of life is the pre-funeral, like the celebration of life before the person dies.
Yeah.
And there's a movement right now, and this is a big article that Don sent me. There's a movement right now to do these pre-death events when someone knows they're terminal. Bring everyone together while they're still able to partake in the event, and not after the event. So like funeral directors and funeral homes and all of these sort of services are trying to now pivot and say, how can we accommodate families where we can do something that is in spirit with who they are prior to their death, and then still service the family through the rest of the process.
Yeah, and the hard thing is if you have a religious approach on it, some people believe, well, they're up in heaven and they're listening anyway, so they're hearing all this.
Right.
I don't exactly believe all that, because if you're up in heaven and you're looking down and you have separation with your kids and you're seeing them like going through a hard time, or your son masturbate for the first time, I'm not up in heaven wanting to see that. You know, I don't think my little sister would want to see that her son did. I'm just being honest. Like where the rubber hits the road. I
so
think,
to speak.
There's got to be some kind of separation. Who wants to look down and see that? No one.
That was one of my things when I was more religious that I never really got. It's like, really?
Yeah,
Like,
who wants to look down and see all the
time? Like,
shiznit things that your kids are up to?
The church I went to was like, it made it seem like there's like a VHS tape of your life.
Yeah.
And they're going to show every, it's like, I'm going to relive my whole life.
I don't want my grandparents seeing that.
And who wants to relive my whole life? I just did it. I don't
My
wanna do it
grandma's
again.
dead. Now you're really gonna kill her if she's watching my life, right? I mean, the things that we got to hold back. So nonetheless, what are your thoughts on this? I think it's a great idea, but you have to be willing to accept the fact that you are going to pass away, and you have to be willing to accept the fact that you're probably not up in heaven or wherever that is, hanging out with Beelzebub. I don't know, and it's not like you're sitting in another room watching this go on. Our friend Gary, when he passed, we call him 55. When we knew that he was passing, there was a service at a church for him. And the service was really cool. All his favorite musicians came in. I thought it was a really cool, beautiful way to do it. And then when he did finally pass away, we all got to speak at this service. But these are things that we had all had an opportunity to say to him, right?
Yeah.
And then his wife stood up, gave the eulogy. It's the best eulogy I have ever heard in my life. But it was these other times where we got together one-on-one in groups and also in a church service to speak to him and celebrate his life. I thought that was done pretty beautifully and perfectly.
I like the idea. It is super intense. My birth mother did a death with dignity ceremony that brought together these people, and but it happened that day, and it was the most intense experience I've ever been a part of. To go from telling stories and having these tender moments to then the person. There's a physician there to administer the drugs to end this person's life. It was super intense, but that's what she wanted, and it was. I'm grateful for it because you did get to say your final things that you wanted to say, and there was a moment. There's not a more powerful moment of closure than that, but I think the trend. I like the trend because it takes away, it's similar to what we talked about with the stuff in the previous story of embracing the world as it really is and not how you want it to be. It's like, this is what is really happening. This is what we're really doing. And why not face it head on and go through, as opposed to saying, oh, there's going to be some magical thing that's going to happen outside of my control. It's like, no, this is happening. And so allowing people, and the people they featured in the story were really great. There was one woman where as she got cancer, she was always cold, so she started wearing these colorful onesies, and everybody came to her event wearing a ridiculous colored onesie. And they all told stories and had music and laughter and love. And she died shortly after that meeting, but her family said it was so great because that was her sense of humor. And for everybody to be these grown adults walking around in rainbow colored onesies, and just telling stories they were glad they did it.
Yeah, I thought of our friend Brad Perkins who worked at Cairo. Stop freaking call Beacon. Everything you hear on the Mariners games, that was him. When he knew he was dying, he's the gentleman that asked me to go climb Rainier in his place because it was a fundraiser, which I went and did. When we finally got to his celebration, you were asked if you connected with Brad in some way, if you were a musician, to wear your Kiss shirt, if you played music with him, if you're a hockey player, wear your hockey jersey, if you're a mountain climber, wear your crampons, which was pretty tough. But I wore those to church and tore some pews up, I'll tell you that. But he had also set aside a few kegs of beer. He had kind of created an environment where he wanted his friends to come. In that instance, I wish, man, why did we do this six months or 12 months earlier with him, where he could have been here with us? Matt?
You said when you know somebody's terminal, we're all terminal. We're all going out eventually. So why not just do it right now?
God, rain it on.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Way to go.
Ron and Don's Top 5 at 5.
Number 4.
All right, number 4, let's talk about Ozempic. Is Ozempic anything do you have people in your life? Have you considered Ozempic? I know that you put a picture which was pretty bold, where he said, hey, I was just on a trip. I saw this picture of myself. I didn't like it, so I'm going to do something about it. The GLP-1 drugs are really incredible.
I've been doing a lot of research on GLP-1s. That photo, I went to my niece's wedding and I had my tie and suit.
You're still very handsome, man. You're lucky. You're a very handsome man.
And it was this picture, the angle of the picture, like, oh my God. So I was 253. And as we sit here today, I'm down 14 pounds.
Awesome, man.
So got to keep that going. And it's been, so I'm need to do more, but I'm excited that I sort of got it turned around a little bit. I have thought about GLP-1s. Like, I have some other medications in my life that I deal with my doctors on. So I want to talk to them about it. I'm trying to be on less drugs. Like, I don't want to be the person that is on a regimen of drugs for the rest of their lives. And I've been trying to get down to where I'm not on, drugs all the time. But some of them at our age category are just on some health related drugs. And so, but the GLP-1, I've studied it quite a bit. I think that Ozempic is one, the Trimidazide or whatever the other one is called. I'm not pronouncing that right. Is like, there's a couple of the variants that seem super promising, and there's even microdosing and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to talk to my doctor about it. But we have one good friend that did it temporarily, like went on it, lost like 40 pounds and then came back off. And he seems to be holding steady. He just wanted to kickstart it. And he sort of did it off book, if you will. That I don't think I think people doing all these peptides and GLP drugs just by going online and self-diagnosing and buying stuff from China and all that I don't subscribe to that methodology. Like, I do think the doctors who studied for 12, 15 years in college and know how to read a medical study are smarter than me in this. So, but I am curious about it. But it changes people dramatically. That's the thrust of this article we saw of, like, it can really impact people.
Yeah, and it can really impact them in a great way. For some people, like I know someone that started taking Ozempic, and she had a real issue with alcohol, and it's helped crave her addiction to alcohol. And
was this for weight related? Was it prescribed, or she just went out and did it?
She did this through her doctor. Yeah,
okay.
But the other side of that is she is one of the ones that can get very sick from it, throw up from it, eat too much food. There's definitely can be sick for a day or two as a result of that. Which there's a percentage of people out there that, and I think it's somewhere in the 30 percentile that you end up getting sick.
Gastro stuff that can happen too.
You can get nauseated, all that stuff. I think it's like I know some people that have gone on it, and there's one woman that I had dated, and like she went to the gym, trail running, really well built, very, very firm, which I like. And if a few more pounds come with that, like, I'm okay with that. Like, for someone that has an athletic body. And so she started doing that, I think, on her own, doing some of the microdosing stuff, although it seems more than microdosing. And all of a sudden you see this, this sag in the face. And now those body parts that were very firm and muscular, they're just, no doubt, she's probably down to a size 0 or size 2, which I think is where she wanted to be. But the muscle that I thought was attractive on her, like in her arms and legs, in her rear end, and also in her chest, like, it's gone. Like, it's gone. And I notice in talking to women that I know in the gym that have gone on it and got back off it, they're like, yeah, it starts another problem where you end up with this saggy skin, and it's like, what do I do with all this saggy skin? Because not only does it attack the fat, but it attacks the muscle as well. So that's the thing. I'm with you. You should talk to your doctor about it, because for a lot of people, especially if they're facing obesity or if they're facing heart issues, visceral fat, all that, these in addiction, it seems like these drugs can be can be wonder drugs, but you see now a lot of people buying things online, self-describing, and AI has now become their doctor. So,
Ron and Don's top 5 at 5.
Number 5.
what's the longest you've ever been stuck on a plane, and did a pilot do anything about it? I just read a story that these group of people, I think, were stuck on a plane for 48 hours, and the pilot said, "Oh, I'm going to
48?
4 to 8 hours."
4 to 8.
And the pilot said, "Oh, I'm going to get you a pizza." Number one, did the pilot pay for the pizza? And number two, I don't want to share my pizza. I want my own. If I'm stuck on a plane for 8 hours, number one, I want my own pizza. But number two, it's going to be really warm on that plane, and then people are going to be, having some obnoxious odoriferouses.
I'll talk about the pizza.
So I don't know if I want to be around a bunch of people that are eating greasy pizza. Why not a burrito?
I'm going to get back to your pizza pilot here in a second, but as a sidebar,
The pizza pilot.
coming back from Las Vegas, me and someone that I was traveling with, both, I don't know what's up with SeaTac. Planes are landing at SeaTac on time, and there are no gates.
How did it go from life partner to someone I was traveling with?
There are no gates. We're on different flights. There are no gates available.
Oh.
And you landed on time.
Yep.
It's your scheduled flight.
You did everything right.
And they are sitting there. This other plane, they could not get through all the runways.
Yeah.
There were veterans on board that had their veteran hat and everything, where they would not allow them to go use the bathroom. Oh, no. And because they're like, "Hey, we're not clear of the runways yet," and they're like, "I don't care, dude. Like, I'm 75 years old. I need to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, I am a U.S. veteran. I was injured. I need to use the bathroom now."
Yeah.
And these flight attendants.
I've taken a shiznet all over Vietnam. Don't think I'm going to not take a shiznet right here if I have
they're like,
to.
"There's nothing we can do. You have to stay seated." And it's like, "We can't get to the gate. You can't use the bathroom. You have to stay seated." And like, well, who's in our gate? I was on the ground for well over an hour on the flight back from Vegas. It's 11 o'clock at night, and they're telling me, well, some flight, their reverse doesn't work, so they're just sitting there. There's only one gate in SeaTac.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have any other gates. You can't pull us around the back where the ramp is, and we walk, like, pull up the truck with the stairs on it. Like, I don't know what is happening at SeaTac where multiple flights every night, there's just no gates. If you are an airport, you know how many gates you have.
That's right, Ron.
Like, it's not like you have the same number of flights as you have gates. If you're having more flights than gates, then it's your job to figure out where to park the planes.
And pull the bus out.
And
go get a bus.
I really feel badly for these people where they will not let them. If you've ever had bathroom insecurity in your life, and I have had that from a time or two, and someone is telling you, like you're in kindergarten, you cannot go 20 feet down the aisle to the bathroom, it is beyond infuriating.
And you don't,
to where you're saying, okay, so you just want me to defecate in my seat because you don't have a gate.
Here's a piece of pizza.
Have a piece of pizza.
Have a piece of
Thank
pizza.
you.
All right, that's
Pizza Pilot.
That's tonight's top 5. That's tonight's top 5.
Have a gate!
Hey, you guys, thanks for listening to this segment. Don't forget it's brought to you by Team Lisa.
With a Y!
TeamLisa.com for all your mortgage needs. If you're thinking about refining or you're thinking about buying, investing, that is the exclusive mortgage broker that we use. And don't forget, you should get underwritten. It's for free. Some of the big banks charge, and they won't do it at all. Team Lisa will underwrite you for free. And even if you're not going to buy till next fall during the holidays, you just keep your folder updated, and then you have that leverage to take a home down. You never know when you're going to be interested in buying a piece of real estate. So go to TeamLisa.com. TeamLisa.com. We will see you on the other side of this.
Hey, it's Ron and Don here, our brand new sponsor, TeamLisa.com. That's TeamLisa.com. That's Lisa with a Y, TeamLisa.com. She is our mortgage broker here on the Ron and Don network. And so, Lisa, many people, they've had a divorce, maybe there's a death in the family, they're getting that new place, and they're really sensitive to their monthly payment. Do you have a way to control what my payment is going to be?
Absolutely. And let's just face it, things are expensive. But what I want to tell you is there's so many different ways you can structure your mortgage payment to make the payment lower. So if you're looking online at a payment calculator and you're getting discouraged, don't stop there. Give us a call. We can model out a few different things.
So one of them is I can buy down the interest, correct?
Correct.
All right, you can buy down the interest. I can do a 2-1 discount. Is that what it's
2-1
called?
buy down.
2-1 buy down. So there's
Yep.
a lot of different ways, and sometimes I can even get the seller to pay for it.
Hopefully.
All right, so Lisa's got all the tricks up her sleeve. She knows what to do. Give them a call or go to the website teamlisa.com. That's teamlisa.com. That's LYSA, teamlisa.com.
If you have a friend that is ready to start their real estate journey, send them to ronanddonsitdown.com.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the Ron and Don Show. Don't forget, if you need us, go to ronanddonsitdown.com. We're doing lots of sit-downs right now.
Whoa.
What?
What happened to your signature move?
Sit down!
There you go. Jeez, people have expectations when they come to
You
the
have
Ron and Don
to go
show.
to Spotify or YouTube to see the signature move. Thanks for helping me remember who I
Yeah.
am. Yeah. Sometimes you got to look in the mirror.
You got to do a
just-
bat flip every once in a while.
Sometimes you just got to know who you are. So let's talk about late night. Stephen Colbert has signed off now by the time you've heard this. And also some of the other late night hosts have gotten together to support him. I think they call themselves the Something Five, the
Strike Force 5 or whatever.
All 5 white guys.
Right.
Yeah,
Half of them named Jimmy.
All 5 white guys. Yeah, and no one celebrates the fact that Byron Allen, who happens to be African American and a billionaire, do you remember the '70s show that he used to be on?
I don't know who Byron Allen is.
You don't know who Byron Allen is?
No.
He was on a show with Fran Tarkenton. You don't remember the show? Can you look it
don't.
up, Matt? Byron Allen.
Inside the NFL. Oh, the Incredible?
Yes,
That's Incredible?
That's incredible.
Okay.
That is incredible.
I used to love That's Incredible.
That was Byron Allen. He, on there with Fran Tarkenton and the whole Hee Haw gang.
Okay,
Byron
I
Allen.
there was John Davidson, Fran
five-
Tarkenton, and there was a woman.
Byron Allen.
Okay.
And Byron Allen.
I forget who the woman was.
You can look it up online. And
That's Incredible was a great show.
It was
I
incredible.
love that show.
Yeah, That's Incredible is incredible. We watch it. It's part of our childhood. So anyway, Byron Allen now has the late night slot. I think he bought it because he's just a billionaire. He's like, I'm going to buy the slot and I'm going to do the slot and I'm going to allow for other
On CBS?
He bought it. Yeah, and so he's going to take that hour and put comedians on there that maybe you haven't seen or heard before, and some of them are going to be African American, black and brown comedians, and I haven't heard anyone talk about it and say, hey, this might be a good thing, because all the late night, we don't really see women in late night. We certainly don't see black and brown people in late night. What's that? Sarah. Her name was Sarah.
Kathy Lee Gifford.
No, there was someone else named Sarah, too. Sarah was on there at one.
Sarah Purcell.
Yes! High five! The white guy!
I remember.
Yeah.
Well, there's two things here.
So anyway, the Strike Force 5 is they've come out to support him and all that, and then other people have said, hey, the reason he's getting fired, he should have been more like Johnny Carson, where it was Big Tent and there's room for everybody and it wasn't so political. Fallon tried to do that for a while, couldn't get any ratings. He didn't do any Trump jokes. Now he's doing all kinds of Trump jokes because they feel like I have to. What's your take on late night, and who sits around and watches late night TV?
I watch Colbert on the YouTubes almost every day. I watch his monologue. I don't go through all the guests, but sometimes, like he had David Byrne on, did an amazing song, so I watch that. I watch his monologues. Whatever you think about in late night TV, the way this went down is absolutely crooked and insane. And so the parent company was trying to do this gazillion $billion merger
with Ellison, yeah,
and
Ellison and his son, who owns his own,
order to pacify the
yeah.
Trump administration, which uses all of the agencies as his own personal playground, and just a bold-face. Is it bold-face or bald-face?
Both.
With like a bold-faced corruption play, and Stephen Colbert got caught as collateral damage. That's just insane. Like, the way it went down is crazy. And whether you like Colbert or you don't like Colbert, you like his jokes or not, that's what is good about America, is that we can make fun of power. You know, when you're in North Korea, you can't do a show that makes fun of Kim Jong-il or you get killed. And so one of the things that is the cornerstone of America is free speech and being able to criticize people and point out.
And punching up. It's
punching up.
And punching up.
And so, just talk to Russians and say, hey, can you punch up to Vladimir Putin without getting, uranium stuck in your sports drink?
Without getting buried down.
Yeah, and so this is people should be outraged because of the principle in my mind. Even if this was the most, MAGA comedian in the world and they got fired because of pressure from the Democratic president, I would feel the same way. The excuses don't make any sense. So I like Colbert. Jimmy Fallon to me was a little too yuckety yuck. A bunch of different weird games.
He's still around though. He didn't lose his job.
I'm just saying
the
when it came
Jimmys
to
have survived so far.
Kimmel, sometimes I like him. Sometimes it's a little man showish for me right now. And Seth Meyers again. Sometimes it's okay. But I liked Colbert among the suite of late night guests. And maybe it's I'm of a certain age, of a bygone era, where you enjoyed seeing celebrities come out and promote their movie or artists come out and promote their new album. He does have a sincere side that I enjoyed, like when he does the Colbert questionnaire. Like he really does, like if you saw the one he did with Barack Obama, you do get to learn something new about these people. And it's not a joke at their expense. It's a human interaction for 5 to 10 minutes. And I think Colbert is the best at that. You can tell that he really cares. You can tell he's principled. You brought up Anderson Cooper, also departing from 60 Minutes. When Anderson Cooper and Stephen Colbert talked about the deaths in their family that impacted their lives, that's some of the best content that helped many, many, probably millions of people that I've ever seen. Like to hear Stephen Colbert talk about the plane crash that killed his father and brothers, and to hear Anderson Cooper talk about the grief that he had from his brother committing suicide.
Jumped off a balcony in front of the family. Cooper.
That was incredibly powerful. David Letterman couldn't have done that. Johnny Carson could not have done that. The Jimmys, I don't think, could have done that. Stephen Colbert has lived a life where he could do that. I think it was valuable. I don't believe that CBS could not figure out a way to make money on that show if you had to downsize the staff a little bit or take it out of the Ed Sullivan Theater. The show had been around, an American institution. It's wrong the way it happened. I think that it'll be interesting to see what he does, if anything, besides this. He's working on a Hobbit movie right now because the Lord of the Rings is his jam. He's working on that with Peter Jackson. And beyond that, I'll be interested to see what he does to reinvent himself, if he wants to.
Yeah, and if you think people are just watching you on the internet anyway, just do you really need CBS at this point?
He seems like a guy that may not need the spotlight. Like Conan O'Brien needed the spotlight.
Needs it, yeah.
Conan O'Brien needs to have that platform as it's part of his self-esteem. Bill Maher's like that. He needs the platform to make himself feel good. Colbert, I can see Colbert just being like, I'm going to work on this Hobbit movie, and if I'm never on camera again, I'm fine with that.
Did you watch Anderson Cooper sign off? The story about him signing off?
I saw it and I didn't watch it.
Watch it if you have time.
He's a gem. He's a treasure.
Because he's not reading anything, and he's sitting on the stool. And after 60 Minutes, they do a show online. I think it's just called After 60 Minutes,
60 Minutes Overtime.
60 Minutes Overtime. So he's sitting on the stool and he's saying, and I'm Anderson Cooper, and he's saying it for the last time. But he goes through it and he talks about how when he's 20 years previously, how when he said, I'm Anderson Cooper for the first time, and you have to do it 3 times in a row. So they had him doing it 3 times in a row, and he said it was so intimidating, and I won't wreck it for you. You can... Do
you know how old he is? Is he 60?
He's my age. He's 59.
59.
Yeah.
What an incredible career.
Yeah. So he, and one of the reasons he took the last name Cooper is he did not want to have a famous last name like his mother. That would open doors for him. He wanted it to be hard, and his father...
He didn't want to be Anderson Vanderbilt.
Yeah, he did not want to be
Anderson.
He
became a war correspondent because of that. And in his early 20s, may not have even been 20
And he used to send his tapes over and just see if anyone would buy his tapes.
He's a freelance war reporter.
It's called being a stringer when you don't work for anyone but yourself, and you're just sending those tapes. So 20 years at 60 Minutes... He talks about what it was like growing up on the living room floor, which you and I probably relate to, watching 60 Minutes with our parents. One of the famous hosts of 60 Minutes, he inherited their office, and there's a bottle of scotch that he inherited along with the office.
Is it Dan Rather?
I'm not going to tell you,
Okay.
because I want you to go listen to it. And then at the end, he does the I'm Anderson for the last time. I'm Anderson Cooper, and he's sitting there, and the whole segment, he's not reading anything. He's just talking to you from his heart, and then there's a reflection on all these stories. And his focus was he always wanted to do stories about people that you've never heard before. And he said, I have, interviewed some famous people along the way, but it was really the people that you didn't know. And you can really see his curiosity around it and why he's such a great correspondent and reporter. And it's if you get a chance, watch it. I don't want to wreck it for you. And
Well,
the
the
way
cool
it starts
thing-
and the way it ends is pretty. It's pretty
Is a
magical.
lot of
and
times
beautiful.
people say, I want to spend more time with my family, and it's a ruse. They don't really want to spend more time with his family. But as him being a gay man in America and how purposeful you have to be to have kids.
And his kids are 4 and 6.
Yeah, so like if you're a gay couple in America, you really want to have kids. It's expensive to have kids. You have to be very deliberate to have kids. I believe him when he says, hey, my kids are young. They're a blast at this age. I really do want. They bought a firehouse that they renovated into a home. I don't know if he's still in that home, but
He is, yeah. He doesn't have a car. He rides a bike around New York.
I believe him that he wants to enjoy his young kids because the struggle that he had to go through, to come out. First of all, and be accepted in his profession, and then to even have kids is remarkable. So of all the people that say I want to spend more time with my kids, I believe Anderson Cooper.
One of the best interviews we ever did, you'll never hear, is when he and Andy Cohen were coming to the Paramount. We were working at Cairo. And so we went into a side studio because they were just calling radio stations around the country to promote. And they'll say, oh, you got 10 minutes. Well, Andy Cohen doesn't show up on time, as usual. So it's us just talking to Anderson Cooper. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we rolled tape.
And we probably talked to him for, 25, 30 minutes before Andy finally showed up. And it was really delightful to talk to him as a peer, not as a fan, but as a peer. And he had some really beautiful, cool things to say. And he loves being a parent. When he was doing all those 60-minute stories, it's when he would be on vacation from CNN because it was the only time that he had. And he's like, now I want to go on vacation, but I actually want to go on vacation with my 4 and my 6-year-old. So let's get to another story after this.
You're listening to The Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the final segment of the Ron and Don Show. Don't forget, coming up after this, we have our real estate only show where we talk about real estate only. That's why we call it the real estate
Good title.
only show. We're thinking about going, since Colbert is not on anymore, late night with Ron and Don, real estate only.
Yeah, it's a long title.
It's a long title. We're going to have to plug that into
We have
AI.
no space for a band in here
What's
at
that?
all. We have no space for Kato.
Yeah,
and
but
the
there's
band.
an open slot, and,
Yes.
and now we'll be taking on Byron Allen, who you've never heard of before.
I've never heard of Byron
Yeah.
Allen.
All right. What are we talking about on the real estate only show?
So there's
Ron?
many times where people will reference an article to me when we're doing a sit down or we're talking about real estate. And so an article came across in the Seattle Times, and I read the headline, and immediately I was like, I don't know if that's true. And so what I did, what nobody else is going to do, most people are just going to read that article and go, well, the guy works for the Seattle Times.
Is this
It's
the one by
probably true.
Victor Whitman?
I believe it may have been. Let me check. Yes. And so because it's right here behind me. And
It says by Victor Whitman.
I went
and
through
Ron put the board together.
and I actually researched what he claims, and I'll just present it to you.
Okay.
And see, we might have a fake news moment on our hands here. It drives me crazy because then we have to undo
What Victor has done.
all of these stories that people read about real estate here locally or nationwide, and they're like, well, that's not what I read in the Wall Street Journal. It's like, Wall Street Journal's not talking about
And
this.
I always love they call the head of Zillow or the head of Redfin, and they're gonna tell you what's going on in real estate,
in Shoreline.
which cracks me
It's
up.
like, okay, cool, bro.
Oh, they call Shoreline?
So I actually went into the Northwest MLS, which is the Bible of data.
It is.
And I tried to confirm what they claim in this story.
So we're gonna be talking about that on the real estate
And this will
show.
be educational for you because, like, it's not just to make fun of this story, but it's to teach people, like, how do you parse through articles that you read and whether or not it's actually true for your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because stuff can be true nationwide that's not true for Seattle. Or
Are you
Bellevue
changing
or
your
Kirkland.
shirt to pretend like you're
I
here
will.
on a different
I'm gonna
day?
change. Are you going to change your shirt?
I'm wearing the same shirt.
All right.
I could take this one and wear it inside out.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Ron and I changed our shirts, so you think we're here on a different day. It's the same day. And Matt, for some reason, has slacks on.
The first time ever in this studio.
Yeah, why? What's
I'm
going on?
going to an event this
Where are
afternoon.
your Converse high tops? I've known you for 40 years. I've never seen you not in Converse
I
high
don't
tops.
understand. You have really nice slacks and shoes on, and then you have a Seahawks shirt on from 1984, and it's not a throwback. It's really from 1984. So I don't.
This is a brand new shirt. This is
That's his dress t-shirt.
Okay.
We'll see you next time.
Hey, you guys, thanks for listening to this episode of the Ron and Don Show. We sure do appreciate it. If you need us for a Ron and Don sit-down, just reach out.
Yeah, go to ronanddonsitdown.com or you can email me directly, ron@ronanddon.com.
Yeah, on social media, he's Ron Upshaw. I'm Don O'Neill. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram. And also, people ask us all the time. Say, yeah. In fact, I was at an open house this weekend. Nobody in there seemed to have a mortgage broker. Some of them have real estate agents and brokers and realtors, but they don't have mortgage people, and we have a great one
Yeah,
for
you can
you.
check out Team Lisa with a Y.
with a Y.
Team LYSA. I had to call her several times in the past couple of days on a deal I'm working on, and she picks up the phone and calls me back even when she's on the way to dinner. So that's the kind of service you get with Team Lisa with a Y.
With a Y.
Mention Ron and Don, and she surprisingly doesn't slam the phone down. All right. Thanks to Matt for today's show. My son, the 7-year-old edition of him, who's our station voice, Charlie the dog. And also, he's Ron. I'm Don. Until next time, keep your head up, your shoulders back, and don't forget that this is the Ron and Don Show, only on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey, it's G-Force O'Neill. Thanks for listening to my dad and his boyhood friend, Mr. Ron.